Good evening, everybody. As always, it's great to have you here at our lessons. So, as always, say hello in the chats. Tell us how are you doing today. Hi. That's amazing to have all of you here. Yeah. Yes, Polina, it's sort of a tradition, and for me, it's always such a pleasure to have such familiar names and observe your great work during each webinar. Really, it matters a lot because I cannot see you. I can only read your nicknames. I can only communicate with you looking at your work in the chat. So it matters for me a lot, believe me. Oh, I see even some new names there. So hello to everybody. Nice to have all of you today. And I think we can begin. So today we have another maybe a bit complicated topic, but maybe it will be easy for you. So we speak about relative clauses, and I know it might sound scary, but for sure it isn't. And adverbs as another part of speech which we have to look at. So I guess we can start. First of all, I prepared a small revision of our previous topic. As you know, at the previous lesson, we were speaking about different linkers. And right now, I want you to decide what is what. So here, I have the list of words, and they are synonyms. Your task is to match the word with the synonym. If you worked with the Quizlet that I gave you at the previous lesson, I hope you will easily do that. So let's begin. How can you say in addition in different words? Hello, everybody who is still joining us. It's great that I have more students, and meanwhile, let's focus on matching. So, in addition, how can you say the same phrase differently? F, moreover. Yeah, so, for example, you can say, I was busy, in addition, my test was coming. Or, I was busy, moreover, my test was coming. So, yeah, they add some extra information. Number two, yeah, so from time to time means occasionally. Number three, owing to. Any ideas? Okay, number three is A, due to, owing to some circumstances, due to some circumstances, I couldn't do my homework on time, right? Number four. Okay, I already see number four. D. Yeah, as long as you keep visiting our webinars, your preparation to the test becomes better and better. Or we can say, on condition that you visit our webinars, you will be better prepared for the test. Number five, while. Okay, again, any ideas? That is G. So while can be replaced with whilst, more formal kinda. And I would say a bit more like old-fashioned or what. Number six, for instance. It should be simple. Yeah, for example. So you just provide some examples. Number seven, as a result. And that is B, consequently. Yeah, so consequences, наслідки, as a result, як наслідок, so they are pretty similar. Number eight. however. And that is C, nonetheless. So, however, проте, nonetheless, тим не менш, you provide two contrasting ideas. Number 9, instead of, and I already see some answers rather than. Yeah, I choose English instead of some other subject as my exam subject. Or I choose it rather than. And number 10, at once means immediately. So that is logical. If you feel that you still struggle with some of the words, again, my recommendation, go back to our previous webinar, Webinar 13, and check Quizlet there. I hope it would be helpful. Or watch the whole webinar, again, lots of useful information. And we keep moving. So today's topic, relative clauses, and look at the sentence here. So the couple posted a Christmas present to their daughter, who lives in South Africa. Tell me, please, can we leave this sentence without the part in black? Would it make sense without it? The couple posted a Christmas present to their daughter. So yeah, it still makes sense, but this extra information, who lives in South Africa, kinda clarifies, gives some additional facts, some details about the situation, but it can be omitted. But is it always like that? No, not always. So this phrase, who lives in Africa, is called a relative clause, where you explain, add some additional information. So, as I said before, they give us information about someone or something, and we can use them to combine two sentences in one. So you can say something like, the couple posted a Christmas present to their daughter. Their daughter lives in South Africa. But then I use their daughter twice, and instead of that, I just replace their daughter with who, beginning kind of new clause, нову частинку речення, and that's how I shorten it. Okay, what about this one? This is the book which we are reading at the moment. Can I skip this part which we are reading in this sentence? No, because then it becomes just another book, yeah? So here, and she's the woman who I was talking to, those clauses help us understand what exactly book am I talking about, what exactly woman it is. So they give us some focus to someone or to something, and they explain what exactly or which object exactly we mean. So then, to use relative clauses, we use who for people, which for animals or things. And both of them can be replaced by then. So you can say the designer who created this website is talented. Or you can say the designer that created this website is talented. The same with dog. The dog which is barking is mine. The dog that is barking is mine. But can we say the dog who is barking? Bad idea. Can we say the dog what is barking? Again, no. So just keep it in mind, which or that. So here, I know a man, he's a lawyer. You can say I know a man who is a lawyer or that is a lawyer. And when it comes to indirect form of pronoun, непрямий відмінок займенника, then we can also use whom. So when we describe not a subject but an object, I spoke to a man whom I had met before. In both parts of the sentence, I is a subject, і чоловік, якого я зустрів, is just an object. So then you can use whom. But if it's a subject, only who or that. So here you can check the rules, but it's pretty much what I told you. So whom can be used only if it's not a subject of the next sentence. Okay, also we sometimes can use whose, чий, to show possession, like належність комусь, володіння. For example, that's the student whose parents complained to the people, animals, and school things. So, чиї батьки. So, and just keep in mind, we say it and write it complete, like whose, чий, and it's not whose, meaning who is. So whose is a completely different word. Now, can you paraphrase those sentences? I have two of them. Your task is to make one. That's the woman. Her house caught fire yesterday. How to make it one sentence? That's the woman whose house caught fire yesterday. Yes, exactly. And number two, that's the house. Its entrance is guarded. Okay, I see some ideas. Maybe you have more. That's the house whose entrance is guarded. Okay, so can we say who's here? Actually, no. Whose can be used only when we speak about people. So I would say which entrance is guarded. And there you're right. Yeah. So which entrance is guarded? All right. I think we can keep moving. And at the next slide, you have to decide which option is correct. So number one. Some word must I speak to if I want information about the Tate Modern. So number one is whom? Whom must I speak to? So here we say it like кого and then to. But in Ukrainian, you would translate it like до кого мені звернутися? So to whom, but you use them in a different order. Whom must I speak to? До кого звернутися? Okay, number two. And you say that is be, many of which, багато з яких, yeah, are in central London. Okay, number three. To whom I spoke was very polite. Or you can also say the employee whom I spoke to was very polite. Yeah, okay, number four already. I recently met a musician whose instrumental pieces are worth listening to. Sorry for a spoiler. So there we have number five. Could you explain the reason that I am unable to access the online ticketing service? So the reason that. Number six. There are two composers working on this soundtrack. Number six. So B was of whom? Обидва з яких, yeah, are German. If you want to say both of them are German, you would use it as a separate sentence. But both of whom are German gives an explanation. Okay, number seven. Is Dr. James the museum guide? Some word you spoke to. who you spoke to, or whom, also possible, you spoke to. Okay, and the last one. The backstage party, nothing, or who we organized, nothing. So here you can say that we organized, which we organized, or just skip that part. So just remember that sometimes that can be omitted. But let's look closer to that. So when it comes to commas, you have to be also very attentive. So people who or that park illegally are fined. Tell me, please, can this sentence exist without the green part? People are fined. No, it cannot, because then it doesn't make sense. What people are fined? Who park illegally? So only those people are fined. So without the green part, it cannot exist. Then we don't need commas because it's one explanation. People who park illegally, it's all like one big subject with a clause in it, and you don't need comma. Yeah. And in B, the Jeffersons who own a Jaguar live next door. Can we skip this information about their car? Or maybe it's pet animal, who knows? So yeah, we can skip it. The Jeffersons live next door. Yeah, and here we need commas because the information is extra. So just remember, if the information is vital, important for understanding, commas aren't needed. If it can be excluded, you use commas to divide that part. So we call them defining clause, означувальна, meaning you define which people exactly, and without this information, does it make sense? And non-defining clause, meaning it can exist easily without it. It doesn't explain anything. So, pay attention that in defining clause, you can easily use that, people that park illegally, but if it's non-defining clause and you use commas, you cannot replace who or which with that. So only who, only which, or some other words, but not that. So you can say the film which I watched or that I watched yesterday was boring, because here you give a sense to the sentence explaining which film exactly. But the film that collected $1 million, for example, isn't that interesting. So here you cannot say that because it's extra information. Okay, now let's try practice understanding which one is defining and which one is not. So here. Is it defining or not defining? Which one is correct? A or B? Okay, so you think A is correct, but okay, that is true. So it's non-defining, неозначально. London is a wonderful city. It completely conveys the sense. But if you want to add extra details, London, by the way, it has a population of 8 million, is a wonderful city. So you can easily skip this part and it still makes sense. So it's non-defining clause. Не означає вона нічого. Не визначає підмета. So that's why we use commas. That is the correct option. It can be skipped. Yeah. What about the second pair? Which one seems right? Okay, so you say it's B, and that is right. Again, is it defining or non-defining? It's non-defining. My only sister prepared the meal. By the way, she cooks great. Yeah, greatly. So you can skip that part completely. And what about the third pair? Okay, so you say it's B, and you are right. So here it explains what exactly package we are talking about. The package which Jim posted a few days ago. So not like any other package from any other delivery service. And it's defining. Yeah, right. Okay, I have some more sentences. So again, A or B? Okay, you say A, and that is right because, yeah, which film? What film? The film which I'm watching at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so it is defining. What about this pair? Okay, it is A because it's not important. Joanna is coming. Yeah. And the last pair, number 6. And that is B. Do you know the girl who's talking to Mary? So here you need to clarify which girl, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Okay, good job. Seems like you worked with it fine. Now let's speak more about other ways to combine two clauses. So sometimes you speak not about a person, not about an object, but maybe about some place or time or even the reason. So the city where she was born is Leeds. Or I remember the day when cinema complexes didn't exist. Or Julie explained the reason why she had chosen a career abroad. So if you define not some object, not some person, but the place, time, or reason, you use where, when, or why accordingly. Time to practice. So here you have to decide whether it's who, which, where, why, or when. Let's go. Number 1. Number 1. Whose work? Чия робота? Not who, хто працює, but whose work is now sold. Чия робота є продана. Okay. Number 2. It's time in 2012 when she was just 10 years old. Okay. Number 3. A few of whom, декілька з яких. Number 4. In London, where his career in music had begun. So you need to be careful. Sometimes London can be that or which, for example, but sometimes it's where, like a place. Okay, number 5. Employees who, exactly, or you can say that as well. Number 6. Okay, the reasons why I have decided. And number 7. Do you know the woman whose photographs have been selected for the exhibition? Yeah, completely right. Okay, so then, right now, your task is to match and shortly write something like D for defining and N for non-defining in your answer. So what do you think will be a proper ending for each of them? Number 1. Yeah, she lived in London in 1960s when it was one of the most popular cities in the world. So defining or non-defining? Non-defining, you can skip that information. It's just like extra detail. Number 2. Okay, you say it's E, where I went when I was 6, and defining, non-defining? You see commas, you say non-defining. All right. Number 3, I already see answers, and that is F. One aspect of grammar that I find really difficult is relative clauses. So again, defining, non-defining. What do you think? It is defining. It gives sense to your sentence. Number 4, already have answers. That is C. Have you still got the book I lent you last term? And it is defining, yeah, because not any book, but that one. And you see, here you can easily skip that or which. Possible. Number 5. Oh, perfect. I have all the answers. Is D. And number 6 is A. All right, good job. So now let's try fixing some mistakes in the sentences. Might be a bit complicated, or maybe not. So what is wrong with number 1? By the way, today each sentence has a mistake. Yes, without their. My parents, whose wedding anniversary is tomorrow, are having a party. There would be used in a separate sentence. My parents are having a party. Their anniversary is tomorrow. Then yeah. Okay, number 2. Without it, that's completely right. I always remember the film, and the next part has a clear subject that, it's not a subject, sorry, but it's a linker that explains the film, and you don't need it. All right, number 3. Without he. Yes. Steven. And also who, right? Because Steven is not that. And when you have non-defining clause with commas, we cannot use that. So be careful. Steven, who came to visit us last week, is my brother's best friend. So one more time, pay attention. With commas, if it's not relevant, non-defining, we don't use that, only who or which. Okay, number 4. You say without their. That is right, and also with commas, because it's additional information. The theater is quite easy to get to. By the way, I saw the latest musical there, yeah? So the theater, where I saw the latest musical, is quite easy to get to. Number 5, again, extra it, the path which leads to the house. And number 6. The waiters brought the food which or that we had ordered. So which or that, but definitely not what. Yes, good job. Okay, time to move to our next topic. So look at the sentences and tell me which part of speech are they. She smiled cheerfully. The house was spotlessly clean. Jeff is running very fast. And they are adverbs. Yeah. So adverbs, just remember, they always describe verbs or adjectives or other adverbs. So here, spotlessly clean, the word that is described clean is an adjective. How clean is it? Spotlessly clean, perfectly clean. Or she smiled, how? In what way? She smiled cheerfully. She smiled angrily, maybe. And Jeff is running very fast. So here we have two adverbs altogether, and very describes fast, another adverb. So, as you probably know, adverbs can describe manner, meaning how you did something slowly, fast, and so on, place, time, frequency, and degree, meaning to what extent, like strongly, deeply, and so on. So let's decide what is what. He speaks slowly. What type of adverb is that? It's manner. Yeah. How does he speak? Slowly. Okay, your head is there. So logically you can guess that it's place, adverb of place, where? Okay, they'll come tomorrow. So here it's when, so time is described, and she seldom visits us. How often? So adverb of frequency. So usually adverbs go after verbs. So she drives carefully, yeah? But some adverbs can go before the verbs as well, especially it comes to adverbs of frequency. We often drive carefully, always drive carefully, never drive carefully, and so on. And adverbs go before adjectives or before other adverbs. For example, the test was how easy? Surprisingly easy. Or she speaks incredibly quickly. Or English is widely spoken. So here it's again kind of verb, but it's past participle form of it. So here I have a tricky task for you. You have to decide whether you should use adjective or adverb in each sentence. So let's agree that you can write edge or adv, so first three letters of every word. Let's try. Number one, that old sculpture is absolute or absolutely magnificent. If you write just ad, I cannot understand because they both have the beginning ad. So third letter, please. Okay, there should be adverb, absolutely magnificent. Number two, I always feel happy or happily when she's around. Three letters, not two. Okay, so happy, it's adjective. Even though we have feel, verb, logically, but as you probably remember, there is a group of verbs of senses, like feel, look, smell, and after them we use adjectives, not adverbs. It smells good, not well, or it tastes terrible, not terribly. and you feel happy and not happily. Okay, number 3. Adverb. Reasonably well for her age. By the way, here's the box with all the rules where we use adjectives instead of adverbs. With verbs appear, be, become, get, feel, look, seem, smell, and so on. Okay, number 4. This black tea tastes really. If it tastes, which rule is that? Good. So again, after verbs of senses, it looks good, it tastes good, it feels good, it smells good, we don't use adverbs, we use adjectives. Yes, okay. Number 5. Nobody in the class speaks Spanish as fluently or fluent. And here, fluent or fluently. Fluently speaks how? Yeah? Як говорить? Вільно. So that is an adverb. Number 6. He gave her a suspiciously or suspicious look. Suspicious look, підозрілий погляд, not підозріло погляд, yeah? So when we describe nouns, we use adjectives. When we describe verbs or other adjectives, it's adverb. Okay, number 7. Don't ask Rachel to help. She's completely useless. Абсолютно, yeah. Number 8. I find this book very... Number 8. Adjective is interesting because here it's not about знаходити якусь річ, but it's about what you think of this book. So you can say this book is interesting. I find this book interesting. Yeah, okay. So let's focus a little bit on formation. Here are just a few important rules. So usually to make an adverb from an adjective, we add suffix ly. So soft, softly. For example, cheap, cheaply, and so on. Happy, happily. But when we have e in the end, we drop it and just add y. So probable, probably. Simple with le in the end, simply. You don't need to write le and then li. You just shorten the word. If it ends with consonant, приголосна, and then y, like heavy, happy, you change it for I and then suffix ly. So heavy, heavily, happy, happily, funny, funnily, and so on. Pay attention here when your adjective ends with l, you double this l. So careful, carefully, double L. Helpful with one L, but helpfully. Useful, one L, usefully, double L. And if your adjective ends with IC, like tragic, magic, maybe, and so on, you use a and then suffix ly with double L. So tragic, tragically, magic, magically. But with the word public, it's an exception. You just add suffix ly. Just remember this. But some adverbs form differently. So the word good becomes well. Fast remains fast. Hard is still hard. So it was very hard work and all of us worked hard. Or it's an early morning, so I woke up early. Or it's late in the evening, so I will be back home late. Пізній and пізно are written and pronounced the same. So here we have different words, and your task is to write all the words that just add suffix "ly" to them. So on the first column, please find all the adjectives that should be transformed using just suffix "ly" and write them using commas. Let's go. Okay. Hopeful, hopefully, I agree. Anything else? Cheerful, cheerfully. What else? Quick, quickly, quiet, quietly. Okay. So I guess I sorted them in the random order. So let's just look at all of them. Then LE changes for LY with probable, probably, dramatically, systematically. They get A letter in the word, and we change Y for I in words like easily, noisily. So here you can see all the results and see if you were right. Okay, let's keep moving. Look at two sentences. Tell me if they are correct. This is a fast car. George drives fast. So they are correct, but the first one is an adjective and the second one is an adverb. So you have to pay attention to some adverbs that have the same form as adjectives, like hard, важкий, тяжкий, and важко, тяжко, fast, швидкий, швидко, high, високий, високо, low, низький, низько, deep, early, late, long, near, straight, right, wrong. So you can say that I was right, правий, or you can say that you did it right, ти зробив це правильно, and there is no difference. So look here. Are these sentences correct or not? He's a friendly person. He talked to me friendly. Okay, so you think they both are correct. But what if I say that not number 2 is not correct? So let's find out what is the rule, what's the reason. Here, even though we have suffix "ly", friendly is an adjective. Also, we have other adjectives like likely, lively, lonely, lovely, silly, ugly. And as they already have suffix "ly", we cannot say like, how did you do it? I did it sillily. No, we don't do such a crazy thing. So instead of that, we can say that he did it in a silly way, like по-дурному. Or for example, not that, for example, he spoke lovely, but she spoke in a lovely manner. So yeah, just remember, if your adjective ends with "ly", you do not transform it into adverb in the same way. You use the words way or manner. He talked to me in a friendly way. Or he laughed in silly manner. Or he gave a silly laugh, but not silly or sillily, for God's sake. Okay, what about the second pair? Don't talk so loud and don't talk loudly. So what about the second pair? No, here loud is kind of adjective, loudly is an adverb, but they both are used after the verb. So, do we use adjectives after verbs? Usually no, but actually they are both correct, and let's find out why. So, the adverbs loudly, cheaply, quickly, and slowly can be used without suffixly in everyday English and still be adverbs. So, for example, he moved slow instead of slowly, or he spoke loud instead of loudly, and it's still all right. So just remember, only everyday English, not like grammatically correct at the test, and only informal way, in informal English. Okay, so then right now let's choose the correct option for each sentence. The kite rose high or highly in the sky? Okay, I see different options. So for real, it's high, meaning високо в небо. What about number 2? He's high, respectable, or highly respectable? Highly, and that means very here. So it's highly important task. It's a very important task. But I can jump high. Я можу стрибнути високо. Yeah? So again, high as an adverb is about meters, kilometers, yeah, tall, and highly just uses as an intensifier, підсилювач, right? Okay, so then here I have lots more sentences with difference in meaning. Let's look at them. She tried hard, but she failed. So meaning hard with effort. Вона сильно, вона тяжко працювала. But he can hardly see without glasses. So here hardly or scarcely means ледве. So he almost cannot see. He can hardly see, він ледве бачить. Here, Jessica lives quite near. Near means close, yeah? Поблизу, недалеко. But they nearly missed the bus, meaning almost, ледь не пропустили. Tim arrived late. Пізно, meaning not early. But she's been going out a lot lately, meaning recently, останнім часом. And you can visit the museum free or for free, meaning not paying money, безкоштовно. But European Union citizens can travel freely within Europe, meaning without restraint, вільно, без обмежень. So, now look at them one more time, and we proceed to some practice. So you have to match the words with their meanings. Let's try. What is shortly? Any ideas? Okay, I think I should help you. Oh, I see the answers. Yeah, that's F, meaning soon. We will see it shortly. Невдовзі побачимо, yeah? What about hard? So shortly, like невдовзі, pretty soon. Number 2, hard. Okay, you say it's G, and that is right. So hard, тяжко, важко із зусиллями. Number 3, free. You should know it already. That is I without payment, безкоштовно. Number 4, short. So short, number 4, is be, suddenly, несподівано, неочікувано. Okay. Number 5, hardly. So number 5 is A. Yeah, almost no or almost none or almost never. I hardly ever see you. Я майже ніколи тебе не бачу. Highly. You know it. It's H, very. Number 7, high. Of course, it's C. At some high level. Lately. Number 8. So, lately is E. Нещодавно. Recently. Not long time ago. Number 9, late. It's J. Not early. After the expected time. So, пізно з запізненням. And freely, logically D. So, it's willingly. Like with your own desire or without any restrictions. All right? So now, there are sentences, there are adverbs, you know what to do. Number 1. So the children hardly ever, майже ніколи не люблять. They hardly ever like some healthy veggies. Number 2. Yeah, short. Jennifer stopped short. Зупинилася раптово, миттєво, when she saw Mark. Number 3. The plane was flying high in the sky. Yes. Okay, number 4. You can choose where to study. Freely. Yeah, so it's your choice. You can do it freely. Number 5. I've been watching too much television lately. Yeah. Останнім часом. My mother will be back late. So she'll come home late, вона прийде пізно. Number 7. George is tried because he's been working hard all week long. Yeah. Number 8. It's highly unlikely. Дуже малоймовірно. So you can say it's very unlikely, but highly sounds better, I guess. Okay, number 9. It's all inclusive. Any food in the cafeteria can be taken free. Yeah, so with no money paid. And number 10. He arrived shortly after the meeting had started. Невдовзі. Okay. So then, during the time left, let's focus a little bit on the order. So, adverbs of frequency usually go after auxiliary verbs. So what I mean is if we say she has been loyal, she has always been loyal. Pay attention, if there are more than one auxiliary verb, більш ніж одне допоміжне дієслово, you put your adverb of frequency after the first one. So, I will always be waiting. For example, maybe it's grammatically not perfect, but still. Tim is usually prepared. But if there is no auxiliary verb, you just put it before the main verb. So again, after the first auxiliary verb, після першого допоміжного, or before the main verb. Okay, number 2. So adverbs of manner go before the main verb or after auxiliary verb, or can be used at the end of the sentence. So he quickly ran up the stairs, or he ran up the stairs quickly. Answering to Maria's question, no, I haven't prepared the Quizlet about adverbs, but if lots of you will react somehow, I will maybe prepare it for the next lesson. Okay, so then adverbs of degree, when we show that it's absolutely, totally, completely, are used before the word that you describe with them, usually some adjective or some verb, yeah? So it was extremely helpful, or I didn't quite understand. And adverbs of place and time usually go at the end of the sentence. Shall I wait where? Outside. I met him when? Last year. And adverbs of time such as soon, now, or then go before the main verb, but after auxiliaries or to be. So he soon realized, but she is now ready to talk to you. Okay, so again, about order. We can put an adverb at the beginning of the sentence if we want to stress or emphasize it. For example, carefully, he opened the letter. In Paris, we fell in love. Tomorrow, I'll sign the contract. But pay attention, if it comes to manner or place, you should also use comma to divide it. But with adverbs of time, it's not that necessary. Okay, depends on them. So when there are two or more adverbs in the same sentence, usually they come in this order. Firstly, manner, then place, and then time. So we worked quietly, then where? At his desk, and then when or how long? All day long. Again, manner, place, time. If one of those items is skipped, you still use the same order. So we worked quietly all day long. Or we worked at his desk all day long. Well, you got the point. And if there's a verb of movement, for example, go, come, leave, arrive, then adverbs come in this order. Firstly, place, then manner, and then time. So when you go, move, or arrive, firstly, it's important where exactly you go, come, or arrive. So that's why she went home, then in what way? By taxi, and then last night. So choose the correct sentence from 3 given to you. I will use adverbs of manner, place, and time. Which is correct. Actually, you have the clue in the sentence itself. So it's be, carefully, like in what manner, how carefully, then where, here at the lesson, and when, no. You got it. Good. And tricky questions, as always. So, can you express your thoughts free? Yes or no? What do you think? No, you can express them freely. Yeah, and not безкоштовно. Number 2. Is it correct? Anna, that is very smart, just passed her test. Guys, mention numbers so that not to confuse me. Okay. So, defining or non-defining clause? We can skip it. That means it's not defining. That means we don't use that. Anna, who is very smart, just passed her test. So that should be replaced by who because it's non-defining clause. Okay, number 3. What cannot be used in relative clauses? Yes, that is completely right. So instead of what, we would use which or that. Number 4. The adverb of the adjective dramatic is dramatically. Number 4. If something confuses you, you may write a better option. No, it's dramatically with A and double L. Dramatically. So let me even write it for you. Look at the correct word. It's dramatically with A and double L. So no, it's not correct. Can you run fastly? Yes, Polina, we can't do that. We run fast. And the last one. This is the woman who I gave my money to. Can we say whom instead of who? And the answer is yes, we can, because it's not a subject. I gave my money, so I is a subject, and who can be easily replaced with whom. Кому я віддав гроші. So yeah, that is right. Okay, I think that is all from me for today. If you have any questions, I will gladly answer them. So anything you'd like to ask, like 1 or 2 minutes, maybe. Or if not, then you can say goodbye to everybody. So thank you as well for your great work. If not your comments, if not your answers, I think I would feel really frustrated. And that helps me understand that I'm not alone and that people are interested in it. So I think that's amazing. Okay, so then it's all. If someone is still typing some sentences or questions, I will answer them later. And see you. Goodbye.